What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Momentum. This is episode 162, something like that, meaning that we've been live for 162 days straight. So I'm excited to be here today and we pulling my favorite list. I won't even spend a bunch of time on talking why is this so important? Look, so many people reach out and they're always like, what's the perfect list? Who should I market to? And ultimately, it depends on how much money you can spend. Where are you at in your business right now? Like how much resources can you spend? Do you have more time than you have money? Then if you don't have any money, you should not even worry about me pulling lists right now. You should be out knocking on doors. If you're like, I don't want to knock on doors, then maybe you should just be driving for dollars, because that's the cheapest way you can go about getting your first deal. Going around looking for ugly houses, writing down that address, or if you guys are using batch driven, which I hope you are, you can log that address and get it skip trace so you can be the person calling them. Right. But if you have a little bit of resources, if you have $1,000, $1,500, hopefully maybe you saved up $2,500. That's kind of bare minimum what I tell folks. To have a fully operating system with a virtual assistant, you need at least $2,500 to spend for a month. Okay. So assuming you guys have that, then let's talk about list. Okay. If you have one virtual assistant, now this video is geared towards this setup, $2,500 a month. If you have 5 virtual assistants, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, we'll break down kind of what that looks like, but of course it changes as your team gets bigger. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm using a tool you guys are probably familiar with, and it is called propstream. Okay. So here we are, propstream pulled up. And I'm going to be showing you guys my very favorite list. So the list that I pull when I go into any sort of market, anything new, I typically like to niche it down. And that's what you guys need to understand. It's not about the list itself. It's how many times can you or your virtual assistant get through this list consistently, right? Typically, I know you guys have heard me talk about this before in a previous video. 5 to 7,000 records should allow my one virtual assistant to get through a list 6 times within a 6-week period, right? So within a 6-week period, which is about a month and a half, I should be able to go through that list 6 or 7 times. Now, why is 6 or 7 the magic number? Why is that what I decided on? Well, we have found that after 2 or 3 recycles, we're still getting similar results as the first one. But we found as that list gets smaller and as we get to the 5th and 6th recycle, that's where we're wringing out as much as we possibly can from that data set. And after we get past 7, so once we're into the 8, 9, 10, then our list is either too small or they've been hit too much by our marketing, and we need to put that list on ice. Not forever, but we need to put it on ice for at least a couple weeks, maybe a month. Okay. And then I take that data set and I put it right back in. So what does recycle mean? What does all these terms mean? Ultimately, guys, you got to think, as we're calling a list of 5 to 7,000 people, there's going to be a lot of people. Most people are not going to answer. Some people are going to say, never call me again. Some people are going to say wrong number. Great. The people who say never call me again or you have the wrong number, we'll make sure to remove them from our database, right? We'll put into the company do not call. That's a disposition. Our agents that are on the phone with them can choose. They can choose company do not call. And as well as they're talking to someone who has the wrong number. Oh, great. Would you by chance have any other properties you're interested in selling? No. No worries. Look, I'm going to go ahead and put your number here in our do not call. We won't be bothering you again. Okay. I can't speak for other companies, but you definitely won't hear from us. We'll put it as the wrong number. Great. Now we have a list of people after we call through a list one time that says do not call our wrong numbers. When we recycle that list, we remove all that data from our data set, keeping only the people that we didn't talk to. Maybe the call was abandoned. Maybe the line was dropped, whatever. We're going to call through that list again, removing do not calls and wrong numbers. And we're going to do that over and over and over and over and over and over again until we get to that 6th and 7th recycle. Okay. Typically, again, guys, 5 to 7,000 records will keep your virtual assistant busy for about a month and a half. So this system that I'm showing you guys today, as far as the data and the list is concerned, should keep your VA busy enough for that $2,500 mark, $2,500 a month. Does that make sense? Everyone watching, you guys kind of understand where I'm coming from on that? Should be pretty good on that. Okay, so now let's get into the list itself. We're looking for 5 to 7,000 records. I typically look at a data set and I tier it, right? So I look at where's most of our deals come from. Are they single family homes? Are they mobile homes? Are they condos? Like that is what I consider tier one, right? All the single families in a particular market, all the mobile homes in a particular market, all of the condos in a particular market. That's tier one. It's way too much, right? It's definitely more than five to 7,000 records. So for this particular example, let's go to Tampa and let's start by characteristics. We're going to go residential and we're going to go single family. Now remember, guys, we're marketing to a situation, not a list. When you're marketing to niche data, it's important to understand the leads are not going to be as abundant as if you call like a big old list of people and you have a bunch of folks who are like, yeah, what's your offer? What do you think? Yeah, sure. What's your offer? Nah, I'm only interested because you guys called. We don't want those people in our database. We want to make it likely that if someone answers on this list that we're calling, it's a good likelihood that they may be interested in selling, right? It's a distress list. So we want to keep our marketing very, very laser focused, especially when our resources are limited, especially when we don't have enough money. Like we can't outspend the biggest players in our market. Like a lot of folks get hung up on like, how can I make it work in Tampa? How can I make it work in Phoenix? How can I make it work in these hotter markets? Matt, do I need to choose a different market? The answer is absolutely not. You just got to be more focused on your marketing. You can't outspend them, so you got to be more diligent and vigilant on the money that you do spend. Okay. So residential, single family, that's where we'll start. As you guys can see, we still have 161,000 just in Tampa. Now, Tampa is just a city. You got to think the greater Tampa area is still very popular. So again, if I'm going and I'm like, well, I want to include this whole area, not just Tampa. I know Tampa is in Hillsborough County. There we go. Hillsborough County, Florida. So that's everything here. Now look what just happened to our list. I'm pulling the entire county. And again, there's a good likelihood if there's people buying in Tampa, they're probably buying in all of Hillsborough County. Now, again, starting back from the top, residential single family, this list is still too big. Way too big. Way too big. Now, let's look at what we would consider tier two, right? Of this single family home, I would now consider like, okay, they need to be it needs to be individually owned. And how many years of ownership? Let's start with they need to be owning this property for at least 15 years. Look what that just did to our data set. Marked it down to 108,000. So of this county, we have residential single family. They've owned it for 15 years or more. So they've been here a while. Individual ownership. And I am including unknown sales dates because if you don't include unknown sales dates, look, some of this stuff just isn't reporting. If I don't include it, then look how much data I'm going to miss out on. Holy smokes. Right? So if you're working with a data provider that doesn't include unknown sales dates, that's almost a third of the data for that market that would be missing if they don't include sales dates. All right, if they don't include this option to include unknown sales dates. So very important feature that I know PropStream has, that I know some other services that we do use do not have this feature, which hopefully they will soon. But PropStream is a place to go for this. So now we have tier one, single family. Now we move into tier two, which is the years of ownership. I segmented this and I said, I want 15 years or more of ownership. Great. Now, how do I go even further? Tier three, I will go non-owner occupied. So this is an absentee list. This is of folks in Hillsborough County, residential home that is a residential single family. That's tier one, tier two, 15 years of ownership. Tier three, it is absentee owned. So this is someone who's owned this property as a rental or something that that they've owned it for a long time, right? So that's tier three, and they no longer live in it, right? So at any point in time, they've been a landlord for quite a while. Okay. So we are 11,000. Again, this is still a little too big for our agent to call. Like we want to, again, get it down to 5 to 7,000 records. So depending on your market, like you could stop here. Like if you clicked on non-owner occupied, right? You clicked on absentee and it went down to like 5,000, you can stop here. But since our list is still too big, I need to go even further. I need to niche it down even further. So maybe what I'll do at this point is I'll go down here to estimated value, and I don't want to include anything more than 400,000. Okay. and definitely a minimum of 100,000. Okay, now we just removed about 1,000 here. So it's still a little too big. So now again, we're hitting into more and more niche list here. So I would probably say this is a broad spectrum for tier 5, but they all go hand in hand. So we now have our estimated value. I mean, at this point, you can also do estimated equity percentage. I'm always hesitant to do the equity percentage because when I do, we typically miss out on a good amount of data who is just maybe have some stuff that's just not reporting under equity. So I'll typically leave that one out. So we're still at 10,000. Now what I can do is, let's see, we have open mortgages, no liens, divorce. Now I don't want to include anything like that. Let's see. I can do, this is a good one. So I can choose the absentee owners that live out of state. And you guys can see that just took me down to 1,600. So that's way too small, right? I can choose local. There we go. That's good. I wouldn't have to niche it down any further than this. 7,400 could be a good number. Now, again, if I wanted to get under 7,000, because that's still 7,400, and you're like, Matt, you said 5 to 7. Right. Well, if I wanted to get it down underneath that, I could probably go back to the equity percentage, and that gets me right under it. You guys see how I can massage this data a little bit to get to the to niche. So ultimately, like this list is the same people, right? As I remove the equity percentage, still the same type of people. As I remove, I wouldn't want to remove the estimated value because we want to stay under the median for the area. And if you don't know the median price in the area, you can literally just type that into Google and it will tell you. Like the median sales price in Hillsborough County is 316,000, whatever, right? You want to stay somewhere in that neighborhood and you don't want to be trying to wholesale $1 million properties. Not ideal. So again, if I need to massage my data, again, going from tier 1, single family, tier 2, years of ownership, 15 years or more, tier 3 would be absentee owned, right? Local absentee owner, so they don't live out of state, they live locally in the area, they've owned it for a while. Okay, they're probably having to go around and still collect rent checks. And then tier 5 is the equity percentage and the estimated value, and also that they are local. So not just absentee but local gets us where we need to be. So guys, like this is how we massage the data, and ultimately, like, so if I ever want to go back, I'm like, all right, now I need more. I need more data for this particular market. We just called this 7,000. Now I need more. Well, the answer is pretty simple. All I have to do is go back and say, um, I don't care if they're local or not. Let me just give me everybody. And I just got another 2,000, 3,000 people on my list. Now I'm like, okay, well, I don't care about the equity percentage. They've owned it for 15 years. Now I just got another 800 people on my list. Great, but I want even more data, right? I want more people to call. We just called a good chunk of this list. So perfect. What can I do? I can go to this. I literally work my way back up the tiers. Okay. So I'll go absentee owned. Let's just go any. You guys will see this is huge. So 86,000, probably too much. So let's leave the absentee owned and let's just say I wanted to pull a list of 15,000 this niche. Perfect. We have our equity percentage. We're leaving that the way it is. We do have absentee owners. I would probably hit up the years of ownership and then I'd go to 10 years and see what that does to my data. Bam, I'm close to my number. And then let's go to 5 years. And you guys will see the list gets a little bit bigger, but it still fits our criteria. It's still the same person. It's just different, little tweaks here and there to niche your data down to make sure you're focusing on the right people based on your current situation, based on your current like amount of money, resources you can spend on your marketing. Okay. That is the secret. That is how you do this. Like you don't have to just do absentee owners, right? You can do any, and you can look at how can I do any um, and only pre-probate properties? This is a great list. This is a fantastic list. So I got residential owners. Okay, so this goes back to the situation, not a list. It's I got a residential owner, a residential property that have owned it for at least 5 years or more individually, that someone, on the title has recently deceased. Someone had recently passed away. So you're either dealing with a husband and a wife, and maybe one of the spouses passed away, and now they're having to deal with the estate. And typically, like, I hate to say it, guys, but sometimes it's tough living in the property where your spouse is no longer with you. Like, it's a very touchy situation, and sometimes the kids will get involved, and they want to help their parents, just move them on to another place. Like, you can come in and just be a person to offer them a solution. With someone in pre-probate, you're calling. It's obviously a very touchy situation. One of the best things you can do for those folks is offer help. It's like, do you guys need like someone to help with an estate sale? Do you guys need help with someone to just go by and mow the lawn? Do you guys need a locksmith? Do you guys need to be, maybe like a furniture auction? You need someone to come out and help you move some stuff, like whatever you can help with, right? And that's not a ploy to get the deal. It's just being a good person and doing good business. You're going to naturally earn someone's business if you bring them value. So that's what you can get by pulling these niche lists by these certain situations and marketing that way. This is how you can spend the least and make the most, right? This is how you can technically do more deals, right? Have a higher ROI or return on your investment, or I guess you would say return on ad spend, so your ROAS, right? This is how you beat the people that are spending more money in your market. You be more focused so you can get through the data more times. So that is what I wanted to show you guys today. Hopefully, you got some value from this video. Again, there's no magic in particular for like a specific list. It's niching the data, marketing to a situation, and finding that sweet spot for where you're at. If you're the one making the call, maybe you just call probates. Maybe you have those 900 people that you can get through consistently. Maybe you go by, stop by the property, leave a mailer, leave a door hanger, try to call them, take a photo of the property. Hey, look, I'm here to help. I know you got so many people bombarding you wanting to buy your property. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here because I can help. Right. So that's what you do, guys. Just depending on where you're at, you make it work. Market to the situation, not a particular list. Use PropStream because PropStream has a robust amount of features to pull that list. I know, like one of my favorite features, hands down, is to be able to check that box to include the unknown sales dates because there's so many places where it doesn't include that. And you guys saw that was freaking 33%, at least 33%. That's just doing the math off the top of my head of data that most of these other providers aren't giving you. So that's the secret. That's the tip for the day. If you guys got value from this video, please head to the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you guys as always. This is momentum number 162. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.